Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing some Blackwing test hands. So I'm really excited for this one because this is actually my favorite deck of all time, like legit my favorite deck of all time, that I've been playing probably since it actually released, and I absolutely love this deck to death. This deck is awesome. I love the way that it's updated now with Full Armor Master. I mean, it's been a while since we had Full Armor Master, but it's really cool, especially with that you can mix in Phantom Knights into this deck now to make it really crazy. I've got some live duels coming up with this deck. If they're not already out on the channel, I'm really excited to show you guys this one, but don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come for our notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below where you have all those awesome rewards you guys, like getting your name description for every single video, getting a signed card sent in the mail, or even getting to quest a deck profile every single month to your Patreon along with test hands. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on into this and see what we can do. So this is a really insane deck that basically throws its entire hand at your opponent and hopes that it wins every single game, and it usually does have a really good percentage of win for me, and I really like the way that it actually works out playing this deck. And like I said, I have some live duels coming up with myself playing with this deck, and then Savannah actually playing with her Blackwing deck against a bunch of my different decks. So if you guys are really interested in Blackwings, there's going to be a lot of live duels coming up with them, so be on the lookout for those. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pile shuffle this deck, and we're going to see what we can do for some combos. I will show you guys some really interesting combos in this deck that if you guys have never played Blackwings, that you guys will see. And if you have played Blackwings, you might actually know those combos as well. And that's okay, because it might refresh your memory and you might see a new combo that you didn't know. So I'm going to go over like two quick combos for you guys to show you some really neat old school ones and some new cards that have helped out the deck quite a lot. So one thing I will mention though is there's only one restriction in the entire deck, and that's something that you need to keep in mind is sometimes you will lock yourself into dark monsters, which does kind of suck. But let me go ahead and show you this first one. So the first combo that I'm going to show you guys is the Simmoon combo. So Simmoon is one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck. A lot of people have dropped this card because of one reason. It's what I was talking about a restriction. So instead of doing test hands right off the bat with this deck, since I love this deck so much, I know two really good combos, and I'm going to show you guys right off the bat. So if you have a Simmoon in your hand and any other Blackwing, preferably a level 4 that's not Oster, you can do a really cool combo to get you basically an Armor Master on your side of the field and 2 searches as well, which is really cool. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to reveal the Simmoon in our hand. Now this does give us an additional normal summon because I don't control a monster, and this forces its normal summon out, which a lot of people are confused about that ruling. But the way that this card actually works is kind of worded very weird, but if you guys have ever read this card, what it does is if you control no monsters and have this card in your hand, you can banish one other Blackwing from your hand to place a Black Whirlwind from your deck face up on your side of the field. Then either send this card to the graveyard or immediately after this card resolves, normal summon it without tributing. That's the really cool thing. So I'm going to give you guys a quick example of why this actually works. So let's say that I normal summoned a Hamaten the Dust, and my opponent, well, let's not use that one. Let's use Zapdos the Elite. I'm just going to make it a very simple reasoning behind this actual combo. So let's go ahead and say that I normal summon my Zapdos the Elite to my side of the field, and my opponent trap holes it, or bottomless trap holes it, or solemn strikes it, or something to get it off the field, and it goes to the graveyard. I then can use my Simmoon in my hand to banish my copy of Bora and normal summon it after placing my copy of Whirlwind on my side of the field because I don't control a monster. That's how you know that this ruling works, is because you can normal summon this card after its resolution because I don't control a monster. You can activate its effect and it's normal summoned off its own effect. So that's the really cool thing about this card. But let me show you how the combo actually works. So what you do is you banish a level 4 Blackwing from your hand, you grab your copy of Whirlwind from your deck, you normal summon the copy of Simmoon because it normal summons itself off its own effect. Now your Black Whirlwind's effect will go off, letting you search the deck. You'll grab a copy of Oster the South Wind, which is a very important card in the deck that you really want to play at least probably 2. I play it at 3 because I love the card and it's just really good. Now, you're going to go ahead and normal summon that copy of Oster the South Wind, and it's going to go Chainlink 1 and Chainlink 2. So it's going to chain block your opponent so they can't ash your copy of Whirlwind. Special summon back your Bora, and then your copy of Whirlwind will go off, letting you search the deck for another monster. So we're going to go ahead and search the deck. You can search for anything that's got 1300, well, less than 1300 attack. So your actual 3 targets are these right here, which is Gladius the Midnight Sun, Hamat in the Dust, or Orochi the Squall. So you can add any of those cards from your deck to your hand, and they all have really good versatility. I wouldn't add my copy of Gladius. It would either be Hamat in the Dust or Blackwing Orochi the Squall. It doesn't really matter which one you add. It's totally up to you which one you grab. I would probably recommend, there's actually different combos for both of them. So if you special summon out your copy of Orochi, you can link summon into a copy of Y-Strix, and then go into Y-Strix and go into your copy of Rusty Bardige combo, which is kind of neat, which I'll show you guys in just a second. But what you're going to want to go ahead and do first is go ahead and link summon into Simmoon. If you go ahead and get the copy of Orochi, you can actually go for a Beals and a copy of your Full Armor Master at the same time, because you can, or a full armor, or an armor master and a Beals, which is a really good play as well. But let's go ahead and say that we grab the Orochi, just to make it a little bit simpler. We're going to go ahead and use the copy of Orochi and Bora and go ahead and link those two together. And then once you link those two together, you're going to summon out a copy of Y-Strix. Now, Y-Strix is going to come to your field and special summon out a Blackwing to your side of the field, which will be your copy of Zaphros the Elite. Now, that monster cannot be used as a material for a Xyz summon, or not an Xyz summon, but a Link summon. So that's something to keep in mind about that card. But you still have other particular plays that you can go off with. If you have another Blackwing that's dark in your hand, you can special summon it to your side of the field and then go into a copy of your Raider's Knight or a copy of 4-Strix to get you a search, and then get your rank up magic on your side of the field, which can help you out quite a lot. So if you have literally any other level 4 Blackwing in your hand, like for example, say a Chris, you can special summon Chris to your side of the field, overlay both of these over here, overlay into a copy of your 4-Strix, and then detach the copy of your Zaphros to the graveyard, get a search, and get a search off of this, which you'll get a copy of a level 4 Blackwing from your deck to your hand, which can be a copy of Bora, which is usually what I would add. And then you also get your copy of your rank up magic spell, which is going to be a little bit useless on this turn because you can't go into anything but dark, but you also have another additional play, which is going to help you out quite a lot. Now I'm showing you the most crazy board that you can actually make in Blackwings. So now you can special summon out your copy of Bora, balance your copy of Whirlwind back to your hand, because now it doesn't go to the graveyard because it's not controlled on your side of the field and you don't take 1,000. And then you can link together the copy of your 4-Strix and your Y-Strix on your side of the field to go into a copy of Rusty Bardige. Now this is why I played the copy of Phantom Knight Rusty Bardige in my deck. You can then use the copy of Rusty Bardige on your side of the field, send your copy of Boots to the graveyard, and set a copy of Fogblade. Now, once you set Fogblade to your side of the field, you can then banish your copy of Boots, set your copy of Fogblade onto your side of the field right here. And then once you set your copy of Fogblade, you can then overlay these two monsters on your side of the field. You would take 400 points of damage off that, go into Raider's Knight, and then use the copy of Raider's Knight to go into a copy of Ark Rebellion by detaching a material. And if it's not the first turn, you can use the copy of the Rusty Bardige to pop a card on the field. So you've gotten 2 negates in your back row, you've got a rank up magic spell that can go off next turn to go into an infinity, and you have a black whirlwind that you now have pretty much added to your hand as well, which is the most crazy combo in the entire deck. Which is a really good field as well, because you have an Ark Rebellion that can OTK your opponent, you have Rusty Bardige, and a full armor master that I would definitely put in defense position instead of attack position, because it can protect itself a little bit easier when it's in defense position, and you don't have the damage. Like, your opponent summons a monster with 3,000 attack, they have to summon something with 3,100 to get past this in defense position, because if it's in attack position, they can just crash into it like a Blue Eyes White Dragon. But if you have the 2 copies of Fogblade, you can also protect it. And then next turn, if you go off, you can activate the copy of the rank up magic Soul Shave, special summon your copy of Y-Strix, and then immediately go into an infinity as well. If they do out your board, you do have a backup play as well, which is pretty cool. And if they get rid of the Fogblade, you can revive back your copy of Rusty Bardige with it. So that's for the crazy combo of the deck that I wanted to show you guys, the most crazy combo of the deck. Let's go ahead and let me show you one more combo, and then we'll do some test hands of the deck too. It's very simplistic of what you do. You'll need a copy of Gladius, which you can search, any level 3 tuner monster, and a Whirlwind, or a copy of Orochi. Orochi is going to be the big combo piece in this particular play. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put these back on the bottom of the deck. This is a 3-card combo that you're going to go off with, but it helps out quite a lot. If you have any other Blackwing in your hand too, it helps out, but you can do it with just this. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate the copy of Whirlwind. We're going to normal summon out our copy of Gale to our side of the field, which is going to add our Orochi the Squall to our side hand. And then once we get the Orochi the Squall, special summon your copy of Gladius, synchro summon these two together, and then go into a copy of Nothung. Now Nothung is going to make your opponent lose 800 life points and reduce an attack of a monster by 800 and give you an additional normal summon. So for example, if you had any other Blackwing in your hand, you could also go for another search. With this card would give you another search. You can normal summon out your copy of Bora, get another Gale, go in for a copy of your Armor Master if you wanted to, but let's just say for conversation's sake we only have the Orochi and we don't have another normal summon, and this is the lowest attack point monster in the deck, so you don't get another search. But for basic combo purposes, you would get a search if you normal summon another Blackwing. This does give you an additional normal summon, which is kind of cool. So we're going to go ahead and synchro summon these two together. This is the very old Yugioh Nothung combo that I came up with a long time ago, and we're going to go ahead into a Yugioh, and then Yugioh will actually revive your Nothung. So you basically got 2 synchro monsters off of 1 normal summon and a search. And if you had any other Blackwing in your hand, you'd normal summon it to your side of the field, and you could essentially get into a third, pretty much synchro monster, where like an Armor Master, because if you had an additional search, you could normal summon out the copy of Bora off the Nothung's effect, and then search a copy of, say, for example, you could get out a copy of Gale, and then synchro these two together and end with a board of, where is it? You could get a copy of Armor Master, or you could go full Y-Strix combo, where you go Y-Strix into your copy of Rusty Bardige and push through that way. So there is a lot of different combos for this deck. So let's go ahead and actually shuffle the deck up and see what we can do. Let me make sure I didn't put any extra deck monsters in the deck, because that does sometimes happen to me, because I use black sleeves with a black extra deck sleeves. So it happens from time to time. Because like all my extra deck cards, if you guys haven't noticed, I put my extra deck in all black sleeves so I can interchange them in between deck profiles. But sometimes when you use black sleeves like this, they're the exact same, and sometimes you shuffle your extra deck cards into the deck, which it happens. And sometimes you get a surprise, and it's like, oh, I drew an Armor Master. Why did that happen? That's not supposed to be there. So let's go ahead and draw. So we're going to draw into a copy of Hamat in the Dust, Allure of Darkness, Orochi the Squall, Simmoon, and a copy of the Silent Boots. So this does turn off our copy of Rusty Bardige. You can fix that a little bit by putting in a copy of Ancient Cloak. It'll help it out a little bit, but I don't really feel like I need it because it's so rare that I actually draw this. It's not a big deal, but it's a good example. If you do draw your copy of your Silent Boots, we're just going to play through. So we're going to go ahead and use the copy of Allure of Darkness, because if I get another copy of Whirlwind, we're going to go crazy. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Orochi and a copy of Chris the Crack of Dawn, which is going to help out a lot, because we're going to go ahead and banish the Allure, banish the copy of Silent Boots because you don't really need it, and then we're going to go ahead and use the copy of Simmoon. Now, what did I say before? Always banish your level 4. So we're going to go ahead and banish the level 4, and we're going to go ahead and grab from the deck a copy of Black Whirlwind, which is probably singly the best card in the entire deck. I remember when Gale was at 1, Kalut was at 1, and Black Whirlwind was at 1, and I still played this deck and made it good. It was still fun. Like, I played this on Dueling Network a long time ago when I first started playing this deck. So we're going to go ahead and activate Black Whirlwind, and then we're going to put a Simmoon on the field. Now, Simmoon, what do we always search with Simmoon? We always search Auster, which is why I think you could get away with 2 Austers and maybe throwing in the second Ancient Cloak, or with another Ancient Cloak into the deck if you dropped Auster down to 2. Always trying to improve. Go ahead and normal summon the Auster, because you normal summon this off an effect. This card will then Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, special summon out your copy of your special summons out your copy of Chris to your side of the field, and now we get a search in the deck. Now, keep in mind, the only search that we can actually get is either a copy of Gladius or Hamaten, because guess what we have in our hand already? We already have both of our copies of Orochi. Now, the thing that you got to keep in mind is, as well, is that your Hamaten can only be special summoned once per turn, because it says if you control a Blackwing monster, you can special summon Hamat in the Dust. You can only special summon a Hamat in the Dust once per turn this way. So it's going to be great, but at the same time, you could add something like Gust if you want to add Gust, but it's not going to help you out too much because you're not going to get that many extra plays off of it. So we're just going to go ahead and add the Hamat into our hand just in case, because we have plenty of like gas already. We don't need any more. It's fine. At this point, you're just overplaying. We're going to go ahead and special summon out the copy of the Hamaten, and then special summon out a copy of Orochi. So now, if you want to, you can really play off a little bit, and I would go ahead and synchro summon into a copy of Full Armor Master, because it's going to give you a little bit of versatility to get some cards off your side of the field. Well, yeah, no, I would do that. I would probably go directly into the copy of Full Armor. And then I would link these two away and go ahead and summon out a copy of, from the deck, or from the extra deck, excuse me, you don't link from the deck. I would go ahead and summon out my copy of Ystrix. So Ystrix's effect will go off and let me special summon Zaphros from the deck, which is going to help out quite a lot with this particular play. Summon out the copy of Zaphros, overlay the Chris and the Zaphros over here, and then immediately go in for a copy of Forstrix down here. And then you can go from there to detach the copy of Zaphros, and then you consistently go off with your play. You get a search of a level 4 Blackwing monster, which can be a copy of, say, I would probably add Chris, because Chris is going to get you literally any normal summon search off the copy of your Whirlwind if you normal summon it next turn. And then you also get the copy of your Soul Shave Force off the copy of Ystrix that sets to your side of the field, which is pretty good too. And then you have an additional special summon if you want to, off the copy of your Orochi, if you want to go that far. I wouldn't, but you have a little bit more play. Now, I would special summon this back to your side of the field, add this back to your hand, and then you can link into your copy of Rusty. If you want to link into Rusty, I probably wouldn't. I would probably just leave the field like this, because you did banish the copy of your Phantom Knight of Silent Boots, which is why I can kind of see throwing in a second Ancient Cloak. It's totally up to you, but you can. So that's pretty much as far as you can go with this particular combo. If your opponent does push through, you have plenty of plays in the hand. I mean, think about it this way. We started with 5 cards, okay? We started with 5, and we ended with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We went plus 4 in this one turn off of Blackwings, which is pretty good. So let's go ahead and do one more and see what we can actually pull off, because this deck is, like I said, it's pretty insane. If we don't draw our brick, we'll be totally fine. Which that is our only brick in the entire deck. You don't want to draw your copy of Boots, because Boots you always want to send off of Bardige, because it's really helpful to just go ahead and get that card in the graveyard. So let's go ahead and do one more and see what we can actually pull off. So we're going to go ahead and move these off the field and see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and draw. We're going to get a copy of Ash Blossom, Gust the Backblast, our copy of Chris, Fogblade, and a copy of the Rank Up Magic Soul Shave. So Soul Shave is another card that you really don't want to grow into, because Soul Shave is going to kind of turn off a lot of your plays, but you can still get a little bit of advantage. You can actually get 2 negates on the field and a special summon, which is totally fine. So you have the copy of Gust. So this is why I actually play Gust in this deck, is because you can special summon Gust to your side of the field, and once you summon Gust to your side of the field, you essentially have an additional monster that you can go off with. So we're going to go ahead and special summon Chris to our side of the field, and we haven't normal summoned at all, we just special summoned. So we're going to go ahead and link summon these two away, and go directly into our copy of Ystrix. So Ystrix's effect will go off, you will get your card onto your side of the field, which is the Zaphros the Elite. Now keep in mind, you cannot use it as a link material, but that's totally fine. That doesn't matter. It's not going to take away from anything if you do. Now keep in mind, you didn't normal summon, but the Ash can come in handy. Now you don't want to normal summon the Ash, but it does come in handy occasionally where you want to normal summon the Ash. If you can go into any of your tuner monsters or your synchro monsters, which you actually can go into Chidori if you want to go into your copy of Chidori. Now, would I recommend this all the time? No, but I'm showing you that even on a bad hand, like not a really good hand, Blackwings can still pop off. So we're going to go ahead and synchro summon these two together, because this card only prevents it if a Raid Raptor, it cannot be used as a link material, but it doesn't say anything about being used as a synchro material. So we're going to synchro summon this away. And once we synchro summon this away, we're going to summon our copy of Chidori. Now, once you summon Chidori, link these two away and summon out a copy of Rusty. Now, again, not the greatest hand, but we still pulled off a Rusty out of this. We're going to go ahead and use the copy of Rusty to send from our deck to the graveyard. a copy of Silent Boots. Once you send the Silent Boots from your deck to the graveyard, you're then going to get to set from your deck to your side of the field a copy of Shade Brigandine. Then you can manage the copy of Rusty, which I already did, and set your copy of Fogblade, which is going to get you 2 searches out of your plays, which is going to be pretty helpful and really helpful in this deck. So we're going to go ahead and set this and set this. We don't have any traps in the graveyard last I checked. No, we do not. So we're going to go ahead and activate the copy of Shade. Once we activate Shade on our side of the field, you can then bounce it back to your hand, which is going to be pretty helpful to special summon back your copy of Zaphros next turn if you want to, or you can just set the 2 copies of your Shade and your copy of your Fogblade and not special summon the Zaphros and just go off from there, because you can just leave it like this, which is not the most powerful field, I will admit, but you do have 2 negates on your side of the field, and next turn, if you do use the copy of Soul Shave, this is going to be set too. So you have the copy of Soul Shave, you have a negate, and you have another monster that's on your side of the field, and we draw. We're going to get Bora. We're going to go ahead and activate this, special summon it. Special summon back the Zaphros by bouncing this. Special summon out the copy of my Bora. This is going to go back to hand, so I'm going to immediately set it back down, overlay both of these, go into a copy of Forstrix, use Forstrix effect. That's already been activated. And then we're going to add from deck to hand literally any Blackwing that we want that's a level 4 or higher, which is going to be our copy of Chris. And then you can pretty much just go from there. Now, if your opponent does destroy this next turn, the following turn you get a Soul Shave that can go off, and you still have the 2 negates at any time that if your opponent tries to stop you. So that's pretty much it for this test hand. As you guys can see, the deck has pretty good potential, even for the bad hands. I mean, it still pulled off a copy of Rusty on one of the not so great hands, but it was really good with that combo that I showed you guys in the first turn, because you have, or in the first combo, because this deck can really pop off and get you some crazy plays. The only thing I would potentially change is dropping a single copy of Auster, maybe dropping Auster for 1 copy of a Ancient Cloak. I might actually do that before the next deck profile of this. So keep that in mind, because if you play 2 of these, you still have a little bit of versatility, because the copy of your Ancient Cloak can search the Phantomite card, which would be your Shade. So you can search Shade, and then your copy of Rusty can search your copy of Fogblade, so you'll still have an additional search in the deck. So it'll be pretty nice as well. So that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, because we have all those awesome rewards for you guys. And definitely don't forget to hit the bell in there so you can become part of Notification Squad, because we have all those awesome rewards for you guys. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.